Greetings, users and programs. This is Itari Living Sacrifice, bringing another edition of Noobs in Hell. I've been playing a lot of Diablo 2 lately, and I've been learning some tips and tricks from some experts. I'm assuming that if I had these questions, then other new players will probably have the same question. So today we're going to cover how do we know whether or not to pick up that item off the ground and even stop and take a look, take the 5 seconds, 3 seconds, 10 seconds to take a look, or just keep walking on by. So stay tuned. Real quick, y'all, if this video helps you in any way, do me a favor and hit that like button, subscribe. We're going to be coming out with a lot more of these videos for noobs like us. Alright, so if you're anything like me, while you've been learning how to play Diablo 2, you're a little overwhelmed with all this stuff just flying all over the ground, and you pick, when you're first getting started, you pick everything up and you're like, ooh, this looks good, ooh, this looks good, ooh, this looks good, and next thing you know, your inventory's full of stuff, and then you go to somebody, you show your awesome stash of things that you're so proud of that you found to somebody who's been playing the game a lot longer than you have, and they're like, yeah, man, sorry, that's crap. Nobody wants that. Go ahead and sell it, trash it, sell it, get rid of it. And you're like, what? Are you serious? I thought this was a good piece of gear. So what I did was I interviewed my good buddy, Hatrix11, the Diablo God King, and he explained some of this stuff to me. And I had to ask him this particular question probably 3 or 4 different times to really get my head wrapped around it. So I'm going to break it down as best I can for you, what he explained to me, and then I'll also have the clip of him answering the question of me when I was interviewing him, and I'll have the full interview linked in the description below. So let's get to it. All right, so when I first got started playing the game, I assumed Diablo 2 was like World of Warcraft and other types of RPGs where they had like different tiers of gear, which Diablo 2 does. But they also have a little bit different of a twist in that, come to find out, you know, when you're first starting the game, you're pick up whatever you can get, and then, oh, blues. Okay, the blues, I'm going to start picking up blues, and then you're like, oh, there's greens, and then there's like the next level up, and then the next level up. Next thing you know, you've got all this gear, and you stopped, if you're anything like me, I stopped looking at the grays and the whites, because I was like, oh, those are the crap items. I want the uniques and the rare items. And then come to find out, I kept seeing a bunch of people with all these gray items, and they were using them to put the rune words and their jewels in and all that kind of stuff and those were way more powerful than a lot of the uniques and the what I thought were the best items in the game. So how do you tell whether or not something is worth even stopping and picking up and examining it, or to just keep walking on by? At first, I thought with the grays, I was just looking for the highest number of slots I could find. So I'd Google, like, okay, this particular sword, I'm pretty sure 6 is the most number of sockets you can find in a sword. So I picked it up, I was all fired up. And then I went and asked Hatrix about it, and he was like, yeah, that's crap, sockets. It's not sockets what you're looking for. What you're actually looking for is the word. This is what the item is called. This one is called a crystal sword. So when I found this crystal sword, I was like, oh, it's got 6 sockets on it, but it doesn't say superior, so I could probably find something better, but it's got 6 sockets on it, so that's probably what I'm looking for. Just what was really confusing me was the word superior, cracked. You know, I was seeing those like the words in front of the actual item name was what was confusing me. So I thought I was looking for superior quality items. Come to find out that is not the case. So this is called a crystal sword. This is actually what's called a normal. A crystal sword is actually what's called a normal sword. All right. You see down here, crystal sword, it's under the normal section. All right. What you're actually looking for is the elite version of the crystal sword. That's a lot higher level. Crystal sword is a 0 level, like it doesn't take, you don't have to have a level, you don't have to have like be level 18 to use it. Pretty much anybody can use it. There's no level requirement to use it. You just need 43 strength, right? However, the elite version is called a phase blade. Okay, so you're not looking for something that says superior. You're actually looking for particular items that have particular stats on them. When you're out there walking around and you see superior, doesn't matter. But if you see phase blade is the name of the elite version of the sword. Okay, so you might be able to find a superior phase blade. That would be awesome, but it's not. Just because it says superior in front of it, it could be a superior. So if you see here, I've got an Eldritch Orb. That is actually the elite version of the crystalline globe. All right, or what's the normal version? Sacred globe. The sacred globe is the normal version. The crystalline would be the exceptional. But once you're in hell, you're looking for the elite version, which is called the Eldritch Orb. Now, if it had superior in front of it, that would be even better. But that's not necessarily, that's not what you're looking for. You're not looking for the word superior. You're looking for a particular item. And you're going to pick that up and see what it rolls. So, for example, this Eldritch Orb has +2 to Fire Mastery, +1 to Fireball, +35 to Life. I don't know if that's the best roll. I'm not going to get that deep into this video. I'm more so like you can just Google like what are the stats that can come out of this particular orb. Another example right here. See, I picked up a crown. It's got 3 slots, right? I thought that was what I wanted. I thought 2 slots. I thought that's what I wanted. I thought all I was looking for was the number of slots for me to put my rune word lore into it, because all it takes is 2 slots, right? So let's look at let's look at Ariat Summit and see what it says about the crown. All right, so the crown is the normal version, like the lowest quality level you can find of that particular item. The exceptional version would be the Grand Crown, and the elite version, what you're actually looking for at this point in the game, you've gotten into hell, you're looking for the best gear, you're looking for the Corona, okay? And the reason you would pick, the Shako, which you see here, which you saw that I have, that 2-slotted Shako, would be because of the strength requirements. So if you're looking to build a lore that takes 2 slots, if you're looking to build a rune word that takes 2 or 3 slots, you want the Corona version with 2 or 3 slots into it, or the Shako version with 2 or 3 slots in it, because as the quality of the gear as it goes up, it typically takes more strength or levels or whatever to wear them. All right, last example before I scooted over to the interview where I had to ask Hatrix11 3 different ways to kind of finally get my head wrapped around this. This particular wand right here is called the Superior Lich Wand. Okay, it is the elite version of, I believe, the Bone Wand. Let's click on the elite wands. Yep, so the bone wand is the normal version. The elite version is the Lich Wand, and it has the word superior in front of it, which I believe affects like the one-handed damage. See how that's blue up there as opposed to just white, 11 to 35. Pretty sure that's what the superior effects have on it. Maybe some of the other stuff at the bottom. Superior might have a higher chance of rolling better stats, but it's not the word superior that you're looking for. If you're looking for, what you're looking for is the name of the item, Lich Wand, because that's the exceptional, or the elite version rather, of the item. Also, if you're trying to figure out what specific items you're looking for, Hatrix11 also has a series he's in the process of making right now called Keep It or Eat It, which I highly recommend. He tells you exactly which items for each, for helms, for chest pieces, and he's going to go through all the different types of gear of things that you would actually be looking for, so that way you don't have to wonder, you don't have to guess. He's going to tell you exactly what you need, and I'll put a link in the description below. So I hope this helps. As always, give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, follow all that cool stuff you do on whatever platform you're watching this on, and we will see you on the next one. And remember to keep moving forward! Alright, so when I was going through the game, the very first time, you know, you start out, the only thing you really have available to you is grays and blues, right? And then later on you have blues, and then you go from blues to, what was it, rare? I call them yellows.
Sure.
Is that rare? Yeah.
Yeah, rare yellows.
And then the next one would be uniques. So, when I was playing the game, I just thought, hey, it's going to be like World of Warcraft, where, hey, I'm going to get the next tier up. But the crazy thing that Diablo does is, come to find out, there's a bunch of grays and whites that you actually need to be on the lookout for. Could you go?
Every item is valuable, or can have a value to it. Even the whites, even the blues. You can find a blue that'll be better than any other yellow version of it. You know what I mean? So everything has a value. You just kind of have to know, which is why I put out that series of Keep It or Eat It to kind of help with that.
I'll link that in the description below for sure. Because that was super helpful this morning. So you basically, whichever character you're building, you're looking out for something specific.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So new players, how do we learn what those items are without calling up Pat every time and be like, hey, how do I know what to do next? How do I know what to look for next? Or what are some good ones?
So when it comes to items and finding out if they're worth anything, is that what your question is, or if they're worth keeping?
So, like when, with grays in particular, at first I thought I was just looking for slots.
Right.
I thought that's all I was looking for was the most number of slots I could find, because I was going to put gems or rune words or anything like that in there.
Right.
But then like, oh, well, that one has low damage. Well, how do you know what the highest damage is? You just, like, how do you know what stats on each particular weapon you're looking for is?
Gotcha. So when you're in normal, you just kind of want to just get through normal, you know, get to hell, because and the reason for that is not only are there classes of, you know, white, blue, green, yellow, and gold, there's also tiers of armor, meaning there's, you know, what's called normal items, which you'll see if it's a like if you're in Act 1, you find a cap, you know, little cap, right? There is a version that's technically a nightmare version, but sometimes it drops in hell, sometimes you might see it at the end of normal, called a something, right?
War hat.
And yeah, war hat, that's what it is.
Okay. And
then there is and that's called the exceptional version. Then there's the elite version, which is called a shako. And, you know, as you go higher in that tiers to elite, it's going to have more defense, and therefore it's just everything. And therefore anything below it is just useless, right? Right. For things for at least defense reason wise, right?
Right.
So when you're looking for things like rune word stuff, you know, getting to hell and finding those elite items, it should be your focus if you're focusing on that type of thing. And anything below hell, I wouldn't even think about rune words, except I wouldn't think about rune words at all.
So let me rephrase the question. So I'm assuming we're already in hell.
Okay.
And we're seeing everything drop on the floor. What makes you pause to be like, ooh, maybe I should take a look at that one?
You mean if it's a white item or anything in general?
White or gray, anything in general, but specifically, like, because I was just walking past the grays and whites, never even taking a look at them. If it says superior on it, or like what makes you say, you know what, let me at least take a look at it?
So the item itself, the name of the item is important. There's a list of them that you just mentally make as you go along. I have my screen pulled up right now if you want to take a look at what I'm looking at. So this is a list of my white items that I picked up, right?
Okay.
This is everything. As you see, it's a lot of chess pieces and a lot of shields and whatnot. Um, specifically, elite bases like this.
Mm-hmm.
Archon plate usually has a pretty low amount of required strength. And this is just things you kind of learn as you go, especially if you're trying to trade for stuff. And then eventually you're going to make your first nice chess piece rune word, and you're going to do your research. Well, what chess piece do I want? And then you're going to realize the kind of differences between some of these. This requires a little bit more strength, and the defense is lower. But to get back on point of how do I know what to pick up? The names of them: Archon plate, Hubert, Great Hubert. Mage plate is a nightmare armor.
Okay.
But it is used specifically for Enigma for a lot of reasons, especially the low requirement of strength.
Okay.
Colossus blades, check them out. Obviously Monarchs, everybody wants their, spirit weapon or spirit shield. So I always pick up some Monarchs when I can. But most of this is going to be armor. Then there's things then there's things called class specific white items, right?
Mm-hmm.
So things like claws, like my videos show, the druid helms, barbarian helms, paladin shields. They all have special, even though they're white, they will come with something else. Usually, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they have nothing. Sometimes they have something else on them, like a white wand. Will have necromancer skills on it. For example, white claws will have +2 certain assassin skills on them. And every class kind of has something that applies to. So paladins get shields, barbarians get helms, druids get helms, sorcerers get weapons, wands.
Yes.
Necros get wands. What am I missing? Amazons, I don't even know what they get. I think they get bows and maybe javelins.
Okay. So
and
to kind of dig a little deeper, this you have 3 monarchs, for example.
Mm-hmm.
The first 2, they're superior. They have much higher defense than the one that has 4 slots, right?
Right.
They're objectively a lot better.
Right.
I know there's a quest where you can add 1 or 2 slots to some of those.
Sure.
But I thought Monarch in particular took 3. Like, why do you pick up the whites? Why do you?
So the Larza quest, which is the guy in Act 5 that gives you the sockets on your items. He has certain rules about his sockets and how he does it. If it is a white item, not it has to be white with no sockets already on it. If it's a white item, it will give it the maximum amount of sockets.
Really?
Which in this case would be 4. So this superior monarch would be 4, just like this, but it would be superior. There is a way to take a white item, put it in a cube with a recipe, and get a random amount of sockets. So you could get 4, you could get 3, maybe you need 3.
Okay.
And you might get 1, and then you just have to eat it because you just got 1 socket.
All right.
But there is a cube recipe to do it. But the thing about the cube recipe is it has to be a basic white item like this. So you're just Zakram shield. It cannot be a superior. Gotcha. So these superior items will be the max amount of sockets, which is fine in these cases. But there may be other cases or situations where that might not be what you are looking for.
So you're using these specifically for, I know you're big on sorceress, and what's your other main?
The paladin.
The paladin. So these are specifically for sorceress and paladin.
These are for any class.
Any class. Okay.
Yeah.
So just basically Google what you're looking for. Google, hey, what does this class use the most of, or what's
Yeah, class specific items are very important because of those extra stats they have. So if there's anything I would say about picking stuff up on the ground is elite bases and class specific items.
When you say elite bases, what do you mean?
Like that sword we looked at. That was an elite item, meaning,
Oh,
just
because
like
of the name. Because of the name, that's
right.
An elite. Gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha. See, I thought it was like superior. I thought that meant it was the best.
Superior is just like let me see if I find an example. Like, have you ever seen something that said it was cracked or damaged? Like right here, cracked bone weave, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the same category as superior bone weave. You know, this one's cracked, so it's gonna have probably lower defense than it normally would have, whereas superior has higher defense than it would normally have. You know what I mean? But we don't really care. I mean, superior is great, but if it's not the correct base, the correct word, it doesn't matter whatsoever. So if it's not a correct, I mean, actually, bone weave is an elite base. If it's not an elite base, or maybe a class specific base like this, we don't care that it's superior at all. It doesn't matter.
Gotcha. So you just have to look at the list of, okay, if I'm looking for claws, look for the list of what the exceptional
Claws are.
Claws. Look for the specific names. Gotcha. That clears up so much.
Good.
That clears up so much. Just be on the lookout for like learn 2 or 3 a day. Learn 2 or 3 a day that you're gonna look for, because you can't learn them all at one time. Don't worry about it, but learn 2 or 3 a day. Okay, today I'm gonna look for these, and then eventually you'll just have 10 in your back pocket. The knowledge,
right. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like, is there anything that you would have picked up that as I'm doing this that I'm not? You know what I mean?
Oh, I would have picked up before this conversation. I picked up everything that said superior on it to take a look at it. I thought that was the word I was looking for, was superior. I wasn't looking for particular names.
Sure. So right here we just found some gloves, and these aren't too bad. Any gloves really that are rare you want to pick up, because this one rolled 20 attack speed, which is great. That's what we're looking for. Mana stolen per hit, which is great. That's what we're looking for. A little bit of defense, a little bit of some stat points like dexterity. There's also, like I said, you can also get plus skills. You can get +2 to bow skills, +2 to javelin skills, and then +2 to, I think, martial arts are the 3 different types of plus skills in there. So this would have had either of any of those plus skills in addition to these stats. It would be one of the best items in the game.
Really?
Yeah, this is a very close to being amazing right now.
But close is not enough for this.
Not really. Early in the season, this, and that's another thing. It's kind of early in the season. You're looking for, people would love this, but now we're at a point where everybody pretty much has found something like this, and now they're looking for that next best level up, which is going to be the plus skills one. You know.
Gotcha.